Good evening, everyone. Today we have new live session. Just let me tune the live stream so that I can see what you will be writing on the YouTube comments, and we will start our live build session as promised. So first of all, I would like to apologize for, let's say, not during the live session yesterday. Why it was like this? Because I decided to do more actions with the model to add more on the model. Let's turn the camera something like this. And that's why actually it was decided to postpone it to today, because now we have aircraft more or less ready. The final steps which are left are application of the some minor items for fine detailing, and that's pretty much all. But we are going to talk about all this stuff one by one. So first of all, model was painted completely with mission models paints. So I have a small video review with these paints. I really recommend to check it. But what I can say about this product is that I'm surprised with the quality of these paints. They're easy to work, they're easy to airbrush and easy to brush. So if you plan to work with some German subject, it might be an interesting choice for you. And of course, um, I would say that, let's say, consumption of this paint is really small, even if you use the high pressure, which is really surprising. I'm comparing it to other paints I use. It is quite fast drying, so there is no problem with this as well. So I guess it might be worth checking if you are searching for something to review. Why I started to use those paints is that my Tamiya enamels got, let's say, dated. So as you can see, they're barely liquid and they're quite difficult to paint. So that's why I had to choose something new. And that's why also I decided to try mission models, because a lot of people actually suggested to give it a try. So that's why I tested them on this Bf109. So here we have this model. I will leave the box, and here you can see the final result. So we have Bf109 G-6 from Tamiya in 1/72 scale. As you can see, it is painted in this quite weird marking option with ice. And I still have masks on. Why? Because I will be doing small application of the special pigments. I have this thing. I think you all know what is this. So these are Tamiya Weathering Master, it's written. Even though there is a tank drawn here, I usually, not usually, but quite often use it for aircraft, because here we have the rust tone and also the bare metal tone, so it might be handy. And it comes in this, I would say it mimics women cosmetics. So here you can see it. We have it with this small brush. I guess there is no need to describe it. It's quite obvious. But first, let me tell you something. So first of all, I think you can notice, I hope it is visible on the video, that there is some blistering or silvering on the decals. So decals wise, Tamiya did not improve completely at all. I mean, you look at the decal sheet, it looks nice. All decals are more or less fine printed, but then you start to work with them and it's complete nightmare, because you try to apply them and you see this silvering around the decal. You try to cut more and still you get it in the middle of decal. That's one thing. Next thing is that those decals are easy to tear away, tear apart, even when you are sliding on the surface. They're just getting torn, even though they're quite thick, they still get torn, and you end up with trying to fix this or that decal. And some decals are enormously long. I mean, it can be that some decals are going from this section up to the tail area. It's quite weird, I would say. I would rather apply the separate numbers one by one instead of just tricking with this decal. Of course, I could cut it off, but I will admit it, I did not think about it, because I was quite used to easy application of the decals, but here is not such a case, so that's why I had to play with it a bit. And some decals were torn. Here, for example, on the tail area, you can see the perfect example. There is a silver and in those red decals. I hope you can see it. Next thing, you can notice that we have the rotatable propeller. With this, I would advise to have the white segment painted with airbrush or airbrushed. Why? Because Tamiya includes the decal with sharp borders, and it's not the case with real aircraft. If you find some reference photos, you will see that it was quite rough white finish, white segment on the propeller hub. So if you want to replicate it in more, I would say, realistic way, then do it freehand airbrush without any masks, and then it will be more or less similar. Moreover, the whole camouflage is, I would say, rough looking on the photos, so it might give some food for thoughts on how to apply your marking option. By the way, because the propeller is rotatable, so it's also removable, as you can see, so I can remove it and then I could put it back at place. It might be handy for some modelers who travel a lot with models on various exhibitions, maybe, who knows. And what else was interesting? Um, I would say the decals was my main um, disappointment in this kit, because it's really sad to get such decals in kit which costs, for example, in Czech Republic it costs 25 euros, and 25, maybe 20, 25. So you get such really bad, to say it, let's say in polite words, really bad decals out of the box. While for the same price, you can get Edward, you can get, uh, I don't know, Special Hobby, even as that model, I think, have the better decals, because what I applied on the Mustang, for example, in 1/72 scale from AZ model, it was way better quality than what we have here. So it's just some food for thoughts. So what I was going to do with this Tamiya mastering set, I was going to take this small brush, and what I would like to do is to apply a small amount of rust on the exhausts. Oh, just give me a second. Actually, it won't be only exhausts, it will be the surrounding area as well. Why? Because such thing happened to aircraft during heavy use, and there is nothing surprising that those areas around exhaust stacks, they were also quite beaten on the aircraft. So this thing is applied, and also I have another item which I would like to use on this aircraft, because of course, as in all other kits of Bf109 G6, no matter which scale, we don't have antenna here, so antenna wire is not included. So that's why I decided to use this thing. For some of you it might be familiar, it's a product from Ushi. As you can see, it is a small rig line which might be useful for World War I aircraft. It might be useful for replicating the antennas on small scale aircraft. And that's exactly what we are going to do. So I will show how thin it is. So here it is. As you can see, it is quite thin, it is quite flexible. Here you can see it, and I think it will be nicely working with this aircraft. I will be doing it off the frame. Why? Because of the video, because I will have to do it in front of my eyes, and now I'm having a small distance in front of me. And what else is notable here? So we have masks in place, not masks, but the fuel tank in place. What else was interesting? The parts fitment is still quite nice. Now be careful with antennas, by the way, because you can easily break them off, even though they sit quite tightly now because of the several layers of paint, several layers of clear gloss, and also glue, of course. And note the position lights. Position lights are not clear on this kit, and there are no masks in Edward set as well, as far as I remember. Just give me a second to check it once again. I think no, there are no masks. Yep, there are no masks for position lights, so you will have to do them with your own tools. What I did, I used the really thin layer of the silver, and then I applied drops of the clear paint from Mr. Hobby. So it's obviously red and green, and the same in the tail area. And also don't forget that this antenna was actually black color on the real aircraft. And that's pretty much all in my opinion. I would like to do really small thing, but it is quite interesting to remove the frontal section mask. So just give me a second. I will scratch the aircraft and we will be good to go. It is raining outside. Nice weather. Okay, so here we have the windscreen mask removed. And the more will be removed after the antenna line application on the model. But these masks, as I've written in the video description, I absolutely recommend to get them because they are even more precise, even easier to use, and I really like it. And also considering the fact that there are no masks in the original kit, thank you for the first like, by the way. It's a really useful product which will speed up the process of the assembly, process of the painting. So if you are searching for useful upgrades on this build, this one is one to consider. Otherwise, I did not meet any possible problems. As I said, for this yellow area under the cowling, this lower cowling section, I would recommend to leave the part alone, to paint it yellow and then install on the aircraft. It will be quite easy. Parts fitment is nice, so there are no problems, and that's actually the same thing what I did with this lower panel. I applied it after painting whole lower section because landing gear is installed under this panel. So it's really handy that parts fitment is so good that there is nothing to worry about. Maybe there are some other parts which you can leave apart, aside, if you are doing some different marking option. And as I said before, think about it. I would rather search for some aftermarket decal set. Thank you for the second like. So aftermarket set, which will be copying completely different marking option, but it will be more interesting to work because those markings are well known and there are only 2 markings in one box. And some decals, I mean those decals, not some decals, but all decals are quite difficult to work with. So I guess aftermarket might be preferable also because of this reason. So that's all for this build. There will be no live sessions about this Bf109 anymore. It's finished, it's done. Just the antenna line application, and that's all. I hope you enjoyed it. There will be also a separate article about this aircraft on our website. I will do some photos with assembled model with removed masks and antenna on its place. And of course, I will be happy to hear your opinion about this kit, about this build. Write it there in the comment section below. Of course, I appreciate you joining all the live streams, all the 5 live streams which we had dedicated to this model. I'm glad to see you guys. I'm glad to talk with you. So I hope you will be joining the next live sessions as well. And I will see you in the next build session. I think it will be on this week, and there will be something different. So again, thank you for watching, and I wish you a nice Monday evening, and see you soon.